I'm Dana Lucas. I'm 43 years old, and I'm a nurse who lives in Boise, Idaho. I want to apply for the Phil Keoghan project. This is my friend Brandon, and this is my lovely friend Megan, who's helping me make this video. This is my dog Amos. He's my running buddy. We work out together all the time. Good boy. And I'm going to show you my house, so come on inside. It's kind of hot today, so I don't really want to stand out here for very long. I'm kind of a hippie, so I live in a really tiny place, and it's only 500 square feet, so everything is packed into a small area, and I try to do the sustainable thing, but, you know, whatever. I still use my share of resources. Brandon's going to ask me questions while we walk around. I have this place just packed with toys and art. You know, you guys are going to ask me what I do for fun. I do all the obvious sports, but I'm surprisingly domestic in my free time. I do a lot of sewing. I've been teaching myself how to do applique on my industrial sewing machine right here. I've made the table that it sits on. Wow! That's a live demo. I do commission things for friends sometimes. I make baby gifts. I like to do custom leather working. I do a lot of cooking. And I'm doing a little bit of gardening, so I'm just going to lead you through like I said, my house is packed with toys. You can see guns, you can see skis. It's kind of tough to fit it all in here. Yeah, it's a mess, but I try to keep it tidy. And Sake Brewing Company is worth making it a little bit untidy. Come on out in the backyard. As you can see, like I said, it's pretty bare bones bohemian living. But I love my little backyard here. And I made these curtains, too. Back to the things you need to know about me. And I'm getting ready to plant my garden. It's been pretty warm out. And of course I've got all my laundry on the back line because, you know, clothes dryers are evil. So Brandon's going to ask me a couple questions. I know there's a lot of things you guys want to know about me, so...
how athletic are you, and how do you get ready for that?
Oh my God, I'm extremely athletic. I get tired of talking about how athletic I am when people ask. I do many sports. I run, I bike, I'm a backcountry telemark skier, I'm a whitewater canoer, I do class 4. I play with my dog all the time. I keep him busy so that he's a good boy most of the time. What don't I do, you know? I work out at the gym. I try to stay in shape all the time for all the activities that I do. And, you know, like I said, what don't I do? So...
what's the most daring thing you've ever done?
The most daring thing I have ever done... I've done a lot of daring things in my life. There's no way to pin it down to just one. But I was a smoke jumper in Northern California from 94 to 98, and that was probably the most daring thing ever. But, you know, I went down to a brand new place with no friends. I was the only woman at a base with 40 guys, and did a job that just mentally and physically and emotionally tested me every day. So that was hard, but it wasn't the most daring thing I've ever done. I've backpacked through the Wind River Mountains when I was a teenager with Giardia. That was an unexpected surprise. I have traveled around the world by myself. I have winked at somebody that was holding a gun to my chest and he didn't take my passport. So that was pretty daring. I don't know. You'd have to get to know me a little better. You'd have to take me down to LA and we'll have an extended interview and I'll tell you a million stories. I promise I'll keep you up late. So, what else, Brandon?
How would your friends and family describe you? Tell us the good and the bad.
There's, I guess your perspective would determine whether it's good or bad. They would say that I'm very opinionated. They would say that I am very smart. I'm a great team player. I'm a little passive-aggressive. And I'm pretty easy to get along with. So I think the worst traits that I have are that I just, I don't necessarily like to do what other people tell me to do. So I wouldn't say I'm obstinate, but I do make up my own mind about things and not easily suggestible. So
What's something that would surprise us to find out about you?
Well, the thing that I don't usually tell most of my friends is that I belong in a medieval recreation group. That's what some of the custom leather work is for. If you're interested, go to www.battleofthenations.com. And this month there's a live competition in France with some of my buddies. I fight in what I call Western-style martial arts, where we're actually in armor and fighting as hard as we can with reproduction and everything. And the surprising part is that I have to make everything that I wear and use, and so it's quite an artistic challenge as well. So it's a sport and it's an art. It's kind of fun.
What do you think it takes to be a tough competitor?
I think you have to have a huge mental game. I think if your head's not in the game, no matter how physically fit you are, you're not tough. I mean, whatever we do that's difficult, we have to decide to do it. And if you decide that it's too hard, you won't finish. And I usually decide that I'm going to finish no matter what. So I don't know if I'm ever the person that's going to win the race. You know, I'm pretty small. You know, I'm not a pro athlete. But whatever I decide to do, it gets done. I will finish.
Since you brought it up, Dana,
Yeah.
and I hate to be the girl who asks you this, but you just said you're pretty small, so how big are you?
I am 5'2" and about 127 to 130 pounds. So there's a lot of muscle in a small package. Actually, most people are usually surprised to hear that I weigh that much, but you know, I'm a tough girl. So I loved it when a friend described me as 5 gallons of crazy in a 2-gallon bucket.
So on the 1 to 10 scale, how would you rate yourself physically?
I give myself an 8.5. Again, I'm not the biggest person out there, but I am mighty tough. So I am not the easiest person in the world to beat. I can be beaten, but like I said, my head's in the game. I've had people tell me they have been very surprised to see me at the finish line. So
Why do you love competition so much?
oh my God. I have a lot of brothers and sisters. I'm the youngest child out of 5, and 4 of those kids were 2 sets of twins. So there were 5 of us under the age of 3. I have an identical twin, and I have an older set of twin sisters a year older. So there was just a pack of children when I was growing up, and I was the youngest and of all of us. And I have always scrapped for everything that I could get. Literally, if I would turn my head at the dinner table, somebody would steal my food. So I've always learned to have a weather eye out for the people around me, and I've always learned that it's better to be the person on top than the person on the bottom. So I hate being frustrated, and I don't like holding grudges. So I found early on that if I simply win, I don't have to hold a grudge, and I don't feel frustrated. So I have a lot of drive, and it comes from a sick, weird place. But my parents didn't referee very well. Let's just say that.
So what intimidates you?
My parents intimidate me. My mom especially, and Southern women in general. I am very scared of people that think I'm not pretty enough or not smart enough or whatever. But you know, as I've gotten older, I realize that I care less and less about that. So it's just a lot of my upbringing.
Why do you think you have what it takes to compete in an extreme physical, mental competition like this?
Because I'm fucking tough. I've spent my whole life doing extreme things. I mean, and not necessarily in sponsored races, but I've taken on some huge challenges in my lifetime. I have gone elk hunting for big game by myself. This was the second elk I ever got. This is a tooth from that animal, and I butchered it myself and dragged it out of the woods myself. I have traveled around the world by myself. I was a smoke jumper in California. I was a firefighter for 10 years. I was a squad leader on a heli rappel crew. I have faced down people that were exponentially bigger than me. I have a great story, if you guys want to get to know me better, about I got assaulted at a frat party once by a third-string football player, alumni, and he was going to rape me. He actually picked me up, and I gave him 3 warnings, and then 1 punched him. I knocked him out. So, but I think the tough part for me, the fact that says that I'm that tough, was that I gave him 3 warnings. I said, put me down, put me down, put me down, and then I knocked him out. So I can surprise people. I think back to the whole, that's just a mental game, you know. I'm tough because when I decide to do something, it gets done.
So why is an opportunity like this one important for you to have?
Oh my God. Well, I've been a nurse for the last 10 years, and I have a lot of weird skills and all this athletic ability, and I've sort of been squashed into this corporate job for a long time, and I don't think I'm losing it. I think I'm in better shape now than I ever have been, actually. But I would like an adventure. I want somebody to invite me out to test myself on something that I've never done before, and that totally turns me on. It makes me really excited, and I'm just dying to give it a shot, whatever it is. So